So I will call this meeting to order. We will start with the consent agenda. All the following items which concern reports and items of a routine nature normally approved at AHA meetings will be approved by one vote unless any trustee desires to have a separate vote on any or all of these items. The consent agenda consists of the discussion, consideration, and action on the following items. The minutes of the monthly finance meeting on June 28, 2016. Minutes of the monthly trustee meeting on June 28, 2016. Minutes of the trustee special meeting on June 29, 2016. And a check report June 8, 2016 through July 7, 2016.
I move we approve the consent agenda. Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Brown, a second by Dr. Henneford to approve the consent agenda as it is presented. Roll call vote, please.
Gasper,
Yes.
Hannaford,
Yes.
Simon. Yes. Brown,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
All right. Next, we have the CEO's report.
Okay.
Kevin?
Well, for the month of June, we added 7 new employees through the facility. We're getting ready to do a Meditech upgrade in August the 17th. We're still working with eClinicals to get our lab interface to work for our physicians' clinics to where the lab will flow across to them. Ashley last month went to a couple of meetings for swing bed and discharge planning, which should help us with reimbursement in the future. We have the LPNs. They did a rotation out here, and they're going to do 4 more weeks of rotation to work with us, and that's worked out real well. Our nursing staff went out to the Northwest Technology School and went through their competencies, and they all did well at that as well. So that's kind of what the month was for us for June. So.
Any questions for Kevin in regards to the CEO's report? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve to accept the Share Medical Center written report for July 26, 2016.
Second.
I have a motion by Terry Klein, a second by Hila Simon to approve the Share Medical Center written report for July 26, 2016. Roll call vote, please.
Hannaford,
Yes.
Simon.
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Gasper.
Yes. Next, Kevin, CFO's report.
Sure. For the month of June, we've seen a decrease in revenue of $170,918. Total revenue for the month was $1,619,933. The reason for that decrease was led by the hospital of $163,164. The nursing home decreased by $14,293, and the homestead actually had a revenue increase of $6,539. Total patient days for June were 67 compared to 174 in May. Total clinic visits, office clinic visits were 1,116 in June compared to 1,020 in May. And nursing home average daily census went from 47 patients to 46.8 in June. Our contractuals for the month were 65.3% of gross patient revenue. We wrote off $60,141 to the collection agency. We gave $389 away in charity care. Other operating expenses for June totaled $360,000, or a decrease from the prior month. We had a net loss overall of $345,167 before sales tax, and after sales tax $288,140. We had operating cash at the end of June of $238,820. That represented 7.1 days of operating expense. Accounts receivable decreased by $239,000 for the month. We were down from 68.1 days gross down to 63.2 in June. Net days went from 53.6 down to 48.3. Our accounts payable balance for June was $752,259, and that represented 50.3 days. One of the reasons that we've seen, if you flip over to page 2, the decrease in revenue is that our patient days, like I said, went from 174 down to 67, and that decrease was part of it, as well as Dr. Self was gone for a week of vacation, and so that's our decrease in the outpatient volume. Contractual percentage, the reason it was up so much this last month is we had some hospice claims that due to some billing issues that we had done in the past with not getting some explanations out to the patients, we had to write off $100,000, which is unusual to have to do, but it's not collectible because we didn't do a notice of election. The other expenses, line items that you might see some differences is salaries and wages. The reason that's down is we only do accrual for vacation time once a year. So this year's for vacation accrual was a lot less than last year's. We don't have as many people that has as much vacation on the books. So that was about a $30,000 decrease there. In our inventory count was actually, we have more supplies on hand this year than we did last year. So we had to adjust for inventory for both pharmacy as well as central supply. Otherwise, if you look at if you go over to page 5, one of the other things I need to point out in the hospital's income statement for the month of March, I had to restate the month of March due to when we received the EHR payment back in March of the $402,000, which was associated with the payment that that was actually due to the prior year. The auditors had booked that in the prior year, so I had to take that against the receivable. I took it as income. I can't double book the income, so I had to restate the income. So I decreased the revenue or the net income for March back to $402,000. I talked to the auditors. So our year-to-date amount that we're going to show you for the hospital at this time is correct. But anyway, I can't, it would be double booking because they'd already booked the revenue in the prior year. So if you look at page 6, you can see that for the 2 years side by side, where you actually increased revenue by about $300,000, our net revenue is down about a little over $130,000 overall. We actually lost $874,000, $584 before audit. Last year we made a net profit of $316,607. The auditors will be here in August the 8th for a week, and then we'll get the audit report in October to see where we stand as far as that goes. The nursing home revenue, seen that decrease due to the slight downward movement of that 47 down to 46.8. They had $221,599 in revenue. They ended up losing $11,416 after all their expenses. The homestead increased, that we talked about. They actually made $19,211 for the month. Page 11 is our accounts receivable. One of the items that we're noticing more and more is the self-pay line item continues to grow. That's with people with high deductibles and stuff, and with the economy the way it's turning, people aren't able to make as large payments to us, so it's taking longer to pay us. So actually we've seen that as an increase. We are still working on getting the unbilled done. There's just some issues that we are working through to get that taken care of, and once we get that will flow back to get the rest of the receivables back to where it should be. But the self-pay is the only one item I wanted to point out that's a little bit tough for us to collect with the way the economy and stuff is. Page 13 and 14 is your balance sheet, and pages 15 through 19 is just your statistical graphs. And these graphs now, year-to-date, are actual numbers, so you can truly compare. They're not projections, they're actual numbers. So, see where some departments actually growed, some of them actually shrank a little bit. So. So any questions? That's an answer for you.
We talked a little bit in finance about continuing to look for other ways to build increase for other revenue streams, so that when there are downturns in inpatient and things of that nature, we kind of thought we were out of that downturn. Then you just show 1 month of having a downturn and things turn around really quickly. So we're going to continue to look for other ways to generate revenue. Any questions for Kevin? If not,
Urgent care, I'm sorry, urgent care numbers seem like they're steadily increasing. Am I seeing that right?
For year to year, but actually for the summer months, they are down.
They're down?
Yeah. Because remember, the first year of urgent care started in October, so you don't usually
True.
have 10 months, where you have the full 12 months this year.
Okay.
When does Dr. Lawrence start this?
He starts the 11th of August.
Okay, I knew it was coming.
any other questions? If not, Kevin, thank you. We will move on to the Medical Staff Executive Committee.
Okay. We have 3 appointments that we need to have you guys approve. The first one is reappointment to courtesy staff, Dr. Ruth Onson. She's a pathologist that reads our pathology here at the hospital. So,
I move to reappoint to courtesy staff Ruth Onson, MD.
Second.
We have a motion by Terry Klein, and second by Dr. Hannaford to reappoint to courtesy staff Ruth Onson, MD. Roll call vote, please.
Simon?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Casper?
Yes.
Hannaford?
Yes.
okay. The next one is reappointment to allied staff Emily Nair, PA. She works in our emergency room department.
Make a motion to reappoint to allied staff Emily Nair, PA.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Hannaford, a second by Dr. Brown to reappoint to allied staff Emily Nair, PA. Roll call vote, please.
Simon?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Casper?
Yes.
Hannaford?
Yes.
The last one's appointment to allied staff Jamie Grants, AR NP. She's our new nurse practitioner, so she's working in the emergency room as well.
Motion to appoint to allied staff Jamie Grants, ARNP.
Second.
We have a motion by Terry Klein, a second by Hayla Simon to appoint to allied staff Jamie Grants, ARNP. Roll call vote, please.
Simon?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Casper?
Yes.
Hannaford?
Yes.
Okay, anything else to report from the medical staff?
Not from medical staff.
Okay. Now, Quappy.
Okay, they had, Poppy met on July 13th, and some of the items that was discussed that you guys need to be aware of is in the emergency room, we track all strokes and stuff, and one of the things is that we have a stroke protocol that we actually do timing of the events and stuff, and we missed what we thought we should have been by 5 minutes, and so as part of our continuing improvement and stuff, we're going to go back and monitor. We did talk to the staff to the importance of making sure that they track the time accurately and stuff, because it's really important to get the TPA and everything in there. So that was one of the things that came up through our QAPI. Another one was we, through utilization review, they reviewed 81 transfers for the last quarter, April, May, and June. And 10 of those transfers were for inpatients, 6 from observation, and 68 from the emergency room department. And then in that report, if you look at it, it shows you where we transfer the patients. The majority of the patients, 21 of them went to St. Anthony's, 14 went to St. Mary's, 14 to Bass, 9 to OU, 4 to St. Francis, 2 to Mercy, and it lists them on out there, even the ones that we just did one transfer. So that's something else that the QAPI looks at to make sure the transfers were appropriate, and we also looked at where we transfer them to, and they all seem to be fine as far as that goes. And the last thing is we had a lock system on our pharmacy, which was a keypad, and our pharmacist came in and says it has to be actually a lock and key, so we had to switch out locks. And now we don't have a keypad. We actually have to have a true key to get into the pharmacy because they feel that's more secure from the Department of Pharmacy. So we made that change to meet the requirements. So, and that's the big stuff. We monitor other things, but that was the big stuff out of the QAPI meetings that we had. So, any questions on any of that you might have?
Anybody have any questions on that? Okay. Next, improvement to patient care.
If you'll flip over to the improvement to patient care, you'll see we had 2 pages of contracts that we reviewed. They were all compliant. So just to kind of make you aware of who the contracts that we reviewed there, so.
Where's mine? It says
It says not applicable.
Not that, yeah.
no. Word not jumped.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next item is through QAPI. These manuals went through QAPI, they went through medical staff, they went through the policy and review committee, so they met all 3 of those criteria, and now we're bringing them to the board. The first is to approve or disapprove the ER policy and procedure manual. So
Were there any major changes?
there was none. It was just that it was something we have to do annually, so.
Okay.
I'll move approval of the policies and procedures as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Brown, a second by Terry Klein, to approve the ER policies and procedures. Roll call vote, please.
Brown,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Casper,
Yes.
Hannaford,
Yes.
Simon.
Yes.
The next one is the approval or disapproval of the cardiopulmonary policies and procedures, and there was no changes either in the policies. So,
Motion to approve cardiopulmonary policies and procedures.
Second.
We have a motion by Terry Klein, a second by Dr. Hannaford, to approve the cardiopulmonary policies and procedures. Roll call vote, please.
Klein,
Yes.
Casper,
Yes.
Hannaford,
Yes.
Simon.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
and the last one is to approve or disapprove telemedicine / telehospitalist policy and procedure. And really the only changes from the prior one was that we've since then have added, when we started in March, the telehospitalist, how we're going to perform those procedures going to the front and stuff. So, but otherwise, the telemedicine for the rest of it stayed the same.
Okay.
Move to approve the telemedicine, telehospitalist policy and procedures.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Hannaford, a second by Dr. Brown, to approve telemedicine, telehospitalist policy and procedures. Roll call vote, please.
Casper,
Yes.
Hannaford,
Yes.
Simon.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
All right, Kevin. Thank you for all your hats tonight.
Here, thank you for your welcome.
Take a breath now.
Yeah.
All right, so next would be Rita, Sheriff Convalescent Home Report.
Well, as you can see, our census was down in June. However, I'm going to report today, as of today, we have 52 residents, and tomorrow we'll probably have 53, and I have 2 that are, I'm talking, we're having talks. Hopefully we can get those. For the month of June, we had in-services on pericare, resident rights and responsibilities, and reporting abuse. We also had Jerome Thomas, our ombudsman, in to provide the resident rights and responsibilities. Our facility participated in the Senior Olympics on June 10th that Beatles sponsors, and we won quite a few medals. I'm not going to say how many, but they all had a good time, and they were exhausted when they got home. The staff worked hard cleaning and clearing and throwing out things in June. I want to say thank you to Nancy, Reagan, Teresa, Veronica, Angel, Tanya, and Brad, and there was numerous other staff that helped kind of pick things up and get things in order. I'm hoping, we did go to a meeting the first part of this month on MDS updates and billing. I think we'll be able to, that starts in October 1st. There's a couple of big changes, and we're looking at our program to see if we can meet those new regulations. We have 2 new LPNs that have been CMAs for 2 years, Britt Ortiz and Ashley Watkins, and they're doing great. They're doing orientation as LPNs right now, and they're still talking to me, so. Well, today they had some admissions that they're orientating really good today.
What does CNA stand for?
Certified Medication Aid. So you have a CNA, which is a Certified Nurse's Aide, and then they can step up and pass medications after they have training at the VOTEC. We are trying to replace some that are going into LPN school or the nursing program. Todd Smoot was here and visited our facility on June 10th, and he did a quick tour. He commented on some weight limits for our stand-up lifts. Those were set low, and he actually called the company, and they had revised those weight limits. So he wanted us to make sure we were reporting those right. And he also recommended a company that goes in and does sidewalk repair, like if there's a bump or something, they can go in and fix that. And I have a call in to them to get in touch with us. Other than that, I think that's it. Our staff works really, really hard, and as I know, everybody in both the homestead and hospital does. So, any questions?
Where's the sidewalk at that needs to be worked on?
Well, there's different places where the sidewalk buckles up, and so they go in there, and they've shown that they can do a pretty good repair for not a lot of money. I don't know if that would be beneficial to all 3 entities or not. Probably would be. Todd is very helpful, very thorough.
Any other questions for Rita? If not, Rita, thank you very much. Next, Kelly, homestead report.
June was a pretty good month. It was a little bit better than May. July is going to be about the same as June. Looks like we had from May to June just like a 1.2% increase in paid occupancy. Year to date through the end of the fiscal year, though, we were up 4% over the previous year with paid occupancy. We had one person move in, one person move out, and it looks like July is going to be no change, no in, no out. But in August, it looks like we'll have one person move out of a studio apartment and one person move into a 2-bedroom apartment. So it should, financially, it'll be better than break even, but occupancy-wise, it'll be should break us even on that. We have continued to provide a lot of activities for our residents in the realm of a bunch of independent living. I mean, we've revamped our gift shop to where it is pretty well resident run. We do have a resident that is a former gift shop operator for another hospital system, so it's, a pretty good fit. And it's, we have a lot of donated items from whether it's folks around or local retailers that the residents are able to use their homestead bucks to purchase, or where they use cash, and we use the gift shop revenue for homestead activities. So it kind of feeds itself, type of thing. And so we have, I think, 4 residents that are participating in that and just kind of manning the hours of operation. It's going real well. They enjoy it, and the other residents enjoy shopping there, so it's going well. We are adding more than just donated items starting probably next week. In the month of August, we've ordered some things like, individual packs of Tylenol and Band-Aids and tissue and stuff like that, greeting cards that they'll be able to purchase without having to go to the store, that kind of thing. So that'll all probably start next week. And we've been working on getting the systems in place so that the money's tracked and sales tax will be issued or paid and submitted and all of that stuff too. So all that is about ready to get kicked off. We've got the accounting system updated to include all the items in their pricing, and as well as the sales tax numbers. So that's good. We have had a volunteer begin with us that's doing some handyman type work. He's been painting baseboards and doing some other odds and ends, changing out light bulbs and that kind of stuff. So that's been working out well for us. We've had lots of air conditioner repairs and service, both in June as well as July. Many of the air conditioners in the property are still original from opening back in 1998, so I guess that's to be expected. The rest of my report you see there, we had a slight increase in meals. And from a meal standpoint with regard to Woods County Jail, July 1st we had a rate increase of 10% for jail meals to account for increases in cost of food. There hadn't been an increase for that program. I'm not sure how long it had been. Nobody could remember when the last time was that our rate per meal for Woods County Jail had increased. So we did get an increase there to help cover the expense of food and whatnot. Happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions for Kelly? If not, Kelly, thank you. Next would be the foundation report. Kelly?
Foundation board met on July 21st. 14th? 14th. I wasn't here on the 21st. Okay. Anyway, been busy couple weeks. I'm sure the chairman wouldn't know anything about that. But we had just our regular meeting. We approved some indigent care funds for a hospice patient, and we'll be working with the medical center to spend down the money that's been donated for hospice purposes to make sure it goes for hospice purposes with the medical center, since that program is no longer being offered, or not being offered at this time. And those funds can't be used for anything other than that. So we'll be working with them to take care of any loose expenses that are out there. Today I submitted all of our stuff for the auditors for our end of year. Looks like end of year we're submitting for review about $66,000 in total donations. About $10,000 in operating expenses, so processing donations, donor appreciation dinners, plaques, gift acknowledgements, and that kind of thing. Direct mail campaigns are in there, and that's on par with what we spent last year. And then almost $90,000 in support back to the medical center for the year. So much of, you'll notice that we will have had a loss of about $28,000 when you add all that together. Much of the funds that were contributed back to the medical center have been raised in previous years. So we, on our balance sheet, will report finishing the year with total current assets of $148,000 roughly, and in cash and checking, and then our endowment is at $152,000. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Kelly on the foundation? Not, Kelly, thank you. Was there anything?
Nothing from St. Anthony's, no.
Okay. Bo, do you have anything?
Yeah, just probably a couple of highlights that, pretty short routine meeting. We did accept our annual audit for the city, which was favorable. And then probably one that would interest most of you. We don't know who, but our new EMS director has been hired and will be introduced to the council August 1st. The mayor might know, but okay.
I don't know.
I guess they're keeping it a secret, but so we'll look forward, and I can let you know that at our next meeting.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have anything to report other than a reminder that we do need to have a special meeting on Thursday morning at 8 a.m. For to approve the engagement letter for our auditors, and then also for them with our auditors as well to help us engage into the UPL agreements. So if you can, that shouldn't be a long meeting, but 8 o'clock Thursday morning right here. There were no other items of new business. So with that, we are adjourned.